So just kind of thinking about it, this makes perfect sense, but yeah, I'm gonna switch to a different ability. Is what I kind of saw for this fight. Because the weakness for the mantis is straight on, like right where the belly is. So all you have to do is dodge this stuff, and then we have a special ability with one of our weapons, or I can actually just attack from a distance, way safer than attacking head on. I think at some point we will still have to fight head on, but in general, I mean, look, we're already doing damage while we're not even taking any damage.
I do kind of like how his scythes turn into javelins. That it does make him look pretty cool.
Yeah, I like the design of this boss overall. But design-wise, what was kind of throwing me off was I saw all of these. There's probably a word for this trope, but a lot of video games have a lot of video game like bosses, especially in Nintendo games. But a lot of video game bosses will have like a weak spot that's basically like a big circle. So I see all these circles, I'm like, that's what I have to be aiming for. But actually, you just got to hit them from the front. That's all it really is. You know, I guess you would call it attack the weak point for massive damage, whatever. But yeah. One of those old school gaming tropes. If I always refer to it as the Lost Planet effect, or the Lost Planet thing, because in Lost Planet, all of the enemies practically have some kind of like, they have all this like outer exoskeleton, and then once you break that exoskeleton, there's like a center bright colored patch that's what you're supposed to kill, and pretty much all the bosses and stuff boil down to that. That was an old school Capcom third-person shooter from like the 2011-ish era. I really liked Lost Planet. It didn't get a lot of love.
Only ever really briefly touched it.
That's fair. What was I gonna say? But yeah, so that really threw me off. But like I like the design of this boss as well. I think of all the bosses we've played so far, he's one of the coolest ones.
He's definitely a white boy. His design kind of reminds me of the enemies you would see in like Earth Defense Force.
Oh, you did, yeah,
as well.
The bugs, which
Yeah.
EDF6 that was out. That was out last year, but I still never got a chance to play it.
I got an EDF game for the Vita before I, did things to it. It works fine. It's just I had never played an EDF game before that, so I was kind of lost. I'm just like, am I not just supposed to be mowing down bugs?
Yeah, me either. I've been waiting for a good opportunity to get into the series. And what was I gonna say? The newest EDF game was supposed to be that opportunity, but I think it came out around like December, maybe November. It came out around the time when I had other stuff going on, so I just kind of missed it. It's been a while since it came out, but we could definitely talk about how our our channel loves to do our Game of the Year content. And because of that, I like to focus on as many new games as I can, just so that I have more to talk about for those videos. So even though EDF6 came out last year, it's only like a year old. I just feel less inclined to play games from last year, you know? I would rather focus on newer stuff.
Yeah.
But I will try to play it one day. Maybe I'll stream it.
If I can get it at a good price, that's my main concern, because like you, I'm trying to ensure that I experience as many new games as possible within the year, especially for the Game of the Year content.
Yeah.
My God, there's still so many. And so a bit of sad news, the GameStop near me closed.
Really?
Yeah, it just gone.
Well, I'm gonna make sure to take a big swig from my my mug that says GameStop shareholder tears on it, because those people.
I mean, look, I'm not the biggest fan of GameStop either, but having a physical game store just a couple of blocks away from me Whenever there's a new game release or whenever like an accessory comes out that I really want, like that PlayStation 30th anniversary controller, that same GameStop had my back and I was able to get it. So, props to that. Having it close by was very convenient, and now it's just gone. So that's gonna make, getting these physical games a lot more tougher. Literally, I looked online and I saw that used copies of Super Mario RPG, the remake, were going for about 35, 38 bucks. And I was just like, let me check my local GameStop before I go meet some friends last weekend. Literally a week from this recording. And I see the big sign saying, oh, store closing. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Now, did
Turns
they do
out-
something?
What?
Did they do something where did they do something where you could like get stuff on clearance or something?
No.
No.
Not a single item was on clearance.
Yeah, go figure.
So I remember going in and I'm just like, yo, any specials? Nah, they're just closing this one location. We're gonna be focusing on our two other locations, which are a mile or two apart. And I'm like, what the fuck? And apparently the sign was only up for a week. So like people passing by would have only known about it for about a weekend. Because I work from home, I don't really pass by there often. So I literally caught it on the last day of being open.
Yeah, but it's interesting that this topic came up because I also kind of had a recent experience with GameStop. And yeah, well, for better or for worse, I was trying to get a specific type of item, which I'm not going to explain what that is just yet because we'll be talking about that in a video not too far from now. Believe me, all will be explained. But basically, I've had one of the worst experiences that I've had in a place where I typically go to have a bad experience because I'm trying to get something specific. But I was looking for an item, or I was looking for a type of item, and coming into the store, they were telling me that like, oh, Pokemon cards were like sold out. And if you're here for that, as you can see, the sign on the wall says that they're sold out. And I'm like, okay, I'm like, whatever. That's not what I'm here for, but I'll keep that in mind. So I ended up buying something, and the GameStop employee gave me the hard sell, absolute browbeating me because I chose not to do power-up rewards. Now, for disclosure, so that I'm not about to paint someone as being a complete asshole when they're just doing their job. GameStop employees basically live or die on those power-up rewards membership signups, and extended warranties as well, which I'll get into in a second. But yeah, so basically, I just said no because, to be honest, I shop in GameStop maybe once a year, so paying them extra money for a membership I'm not going to use doesn't make sense. And the other thing is I just hate GameStop, and I don't want to support. I literally go there to get things that I want to get in person that I can't get anywhere else, or sometimes I just go to kill time or for nostalgia because I used to love GameStop. Oh man, oh,
Dude, you were right there.
Yeah.
You were right there.
I used to love GameStop, but like this giant mantis that just killed me, they absolutely crushed all of my hopes and dreams. No, I used to really like GameStop, so sometimes going to the stores makes me nostalgic, but I just have not had good experiences there to the point that I'm like, there's a little voice in my head that says like, oh my God, if you're thinking about going to a GameStop, don't. They literally always have the worst customer service. And it's true. The GameStop employee that I had to deal with on this day absolutely browbeated me and tried to guilt trip me into buying this fucking power-up rewards thing. It's like, you're gonna come back here and you're gonna be really mad that you didn't get it, and you're gonna lose out on money. And it was just kind of like, man, I'm just thinking about all the other customers that that they do this with, and it's kind of like on a regular basis you have people come in and you just give them this fucking like spiel about how you have to do this service. And again, it's disgusting knowing that the only reason that GameStop employees are like this is because they're forced to do it. So I walked out of there. Of course, I've already built up kind of a tolerance to this, so I expected it going in, and I expected to be browbeated, and I can generally deal with it pretty easily. Like I could just kind of brush it off. But man, she just kept going and going and going and going, and finally I just walked out without purchasing it, and I made to say, all right, I hope you have a great rest of your day, because I knew that this GameStop employee was definitely not going to have a great rest of the day since I didn't do power-up rewards. And I'm just like, walking out, I'm like, just laughing. I'm like, what the f*** was all that, you know? Just because I wouldn't buy the stupid membership that I'm not going to need.
Was it the one close to you?
No, this one was not in my area.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm just like, what the f***? Like, walking out of there, I just said to myself, this is exactly why they have to shut all these places down, because no one wants to fucking go in here anymore. It's terrible. And it goes off with another GameStop experience that I've had, which I believe I told it on the channel, but since it came up, I'll just briefly recap it. The GameStop that was close to me had a really bad attitude employee that started to work there. I actually kind of noticed that most of them had a bad attitude when I went in there. So maybe it was like a particularly bad GameStop. Maybe the manager was like really to them or something. But every time I went in there, the employees, they were not friendly at all. They always seemed really pissed that you just wouldn't buy their shit, that you wouldn't cave in for the stuff that they want you to buy. So this one employee in particular, I mean, he was always just so mad. And again, it was probably because I just always decline the power-up rewards like I always do. I don't let myself fall for that scam. There would be times where I would be like, hey, can I get a bag? And they're like, no, we don't have bags. I'm like, oh my God. Like, the dude literally would just like start barking at me. And you know it's just because he's mad because I just didn't do power-up rewards because I didn't get the extended warranty or whatever. So one day, I go in there. It's the same guy as always, and I'm like, I can't believe this guy hasn't been fired yet, but okay. I walk in because I wanted to do a pre-order on a game. No, I wanted to pick up a pre-order on a game. It was something like that. I don't remember. I wanted to buy a game. So when Zero and I went to PAX East, we got a $5 off coupon for GameStop. There was someone that was just giving them away. These like stacks of cards for $5 off for GameStop, and it's $5 off of anything. And I thought to myself, well, I wanted to get a physical copy of a game. I guess there's a GameStop near me, and I have this card, so I might as well just go in. Well, I might as well have just gotten it off of Amazon like everybody else, because I went in there and I handed my coupon. I'm like, sweet, I'm going to be getting basically no tax on this. It's not like a huge sale or anything, but it's like paying basically 60 flat. And he rings me up and is like, okay, so that'll be like 66.21, whatever, you know, the plus taxes on a new game. And I'm like, and I paused there for a second. I was like, thinking back, I'm like, did I just imagine giving him the coupon? Did that not happen? And I asked him, like, wait, why is it 65? He's like, oh, that's the price of the game. And I'm like, but I gave you the $5 off coupon. Shouldn't it be like $60? Why is it 65 or 66? He's like, oh, that's because of the protection plan. And then I'm like, this guy just added the protection plan without even asking. He just like did it. I'm like, bro, that's just straight up fraud. That's consumer fraud, you know? You can't do that. I was blown away. And at that point, after having that happen, I'm like, I'm never coming back to this GameStop again. And guess what? That GameStop no longer exists. It was definitely one of the ones that got shut down. So, good riddance.
So, oh my God. So one of the reasons why I actually kind of liked the GameStop by me is because I've practically, to my recollection, haven't really had a bad experience with it. I really wish I could have taken you to it those few times you visited, because I've only ever been asked, "Hey, would you like to sign up? Just so you know, you get this, this, or that. Are you sure? Okay." And that's it. That's as far as it ever went. Honestly, that's as far as it ever went
They had
at
some
that GameStop.
decency.
And that's with everyone that literally worked there. I'm so upset because I was so used to, the experiences at that GameStop and how they treated me and my brother whenever we went, that I was just like, yeah, like GameStop isn't that bad. Like I get like some GameStops will be horrible. Hearing your stories makes me think like, damn, dude, you just have horrible luck with GameStop.
Yeah, no, they either don't like me or I just keep walking into the worst ones. But besides you, I like never hear anyone talk positive of GameStop. I have one other friend that liked GameStop, but he worked there and he said it was great. But besides that, like it baffles me despite hearing how awful people's experiences are going to these stores, why it was even still around in the first place, you know?
Mm. But also, yeah, that whole thing about sneaking in the protection policy.
Yeah.
I remember hearing from a friend that he would get like major props from like higher ups because he kept getting like massive sales. And it wasn't until like someone caught him, that he was just sneaking it in there,
Yeah.
that he got in trouble and eventually fired. It's kind of wild how that turns out.
On that note, I actually had a lot of good experiences with GameStops maybe in like the mid 2000s. Somewhere around there. Me and my friend had a GameStop that we would go to that we loved going there just to like hang out with the employees because they were all so chill. But then at one point, and again, this was like GameStop's first strike in my book, or one of the first strikes. At some point, they started to like always change employees. So we got used to like 3 or 4 guys that worked there, and they were just awesome. It was like hanging out with your best friends. They're just these cool, like, they were a little bit older than us, but yeah, they were like pretty
Obviously,
chill
yeah.
guys, and we really enjoyed hanging out there. But then it's like, oh, one of them disappeared. Like they moved them to another branch, and then it was like another one, and then eventually like that place just became unrecognizable. And for a while, the few remaining members of our like posse that we like to hang out with, that were still there, they seemed like they weren't really as happy to be there anymore. And it was like watching the writings on the wall, so to speak, that that things were just really changing at GameStop and going to. And then over the years, it's like noticing that GameStop will like have really bad trade-in value, like f***ing over gamers, and they're always like pushing these like memberships and all this kind of like trying to pre-order and sell your games and stuff. That just sucked. It became, and then like in more recent years, it's become like Funko Pop depository. Just people go there to buy Funko Pops because they can't just get them online, and it takes up like half the store. And
By the time my GameStop closed, not to necessarily cut you off, it was the same thing. It was a lot more figures, a lot more Funko Pops, and also cards. So like a lot of Magic the Gathering, a lot of Pokemon, Lorcana of all games as well. But that Lorcana makes sense because it has widespread appeal. So yeah, GameStop kind of just stopped being just about video games, and I'm not against that. But it's 100% unrecognizable from what it used to be back in the day.
Yeah.
And we also have to understand, like, trends are changing.
Oh,
Damn it. Now, there's no way for you to heal mid-battle, right?
I think there's some drops that happen. Let me just go save real quick in case I didn't save. But there's some drops that happen that when you get them, they give Unica a tiny bit of health, but there's no item that you could just use to heal yourself. No. I don't understand why there's such a jump in difficulty here, like difficulty just because it's a new area, I guess. But man, I'm getting absolutely like slaughtered. I could have sworn I did a decent amount of grinding. And now to call back to our River City Girls playthrough, I can't just go ahead and guard some of these attacks. There's no ability to guard or block. So we kind of just have to
it's just dodging?
suffer it out. It's just dodging, but think about how many like projectiles are coming your way and lasers, and how many enemies you get swarmed with.
Dude, go heal.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do. It's just impossible to dodge all that stuff. So if you can dodge all that, you're nuts. Your reaction time must be crazy. But yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Continue.
What was I talking about?
Talking about GameStop.
Yeah, no, unrecognizable. Oh, trends are changing.
Trends are changing. Yeah, that's understandable.
So like we have to remember, like back in like the mid to late 2000s, 99.9% of the games being bought were physical. Steam didn't exist yet, at least not to my recollection. It wasn't until the introduction of like the PS4, really, because yeah, games were bought digitally on the PS3 and the Xbox 360, but it wasn't the majority. Now it's been flipped over the years. To my recollection, at least to my knowledge, around 70 to 80% of games bought within the last year, like we're talking about now, were digital.
Yeah. Yeah, plus the systems are now being made for digital only as well, versions.
Yeah. So that plays a major role in, how GameStop has changed. Not saying that it's good. I'm just saying like there's definitely a correlation.
Yeah, but I mean, they also could just like not sell insane amounts of like, I've noticed this about a lot of stores, but there's so many stores that in addition to like trading cards and stuff, like no matter what store that you go to where you can potentially also buy electronics, including games and stuff like that, you can also just find plushies and figures and retro things and whatever. And I'm just kind of like, I get why it fits with GameStop, because those interests definitely overlap and stuff, but it's also kind of just like, yeah, I mean, I get it that you have this changing industry where stuff is shifting towards digital a little bit, but I mean, like, it doesn't just have to be, literally just have to be, okay, well now we're gonna get rid of physical games and just replace them with all these kind of plushies. You could still sell physical games. You could still sell physical versions of those games that are that come with digital. You could keep the older consoles around a little bit longer as opposed to axing them right out. They tried to do retro as well, and they could have just kept a whole section for just retro stuff, and you could do more on peripherals and accessories and this and that. I don't see why you immediately had to just jump the shark and turn every GameStop into a Funko Pop museum.
No, dude, trust me, I completely agree with what you're saying. Like, at least when it comes to the electronic side of gaming, like, they could absolutely lean more into that and not just have to go into Funko Pops and whatever other pop culture figure merch crap, like shirts. Because my GameStop also had shirts and plushies and amiibos and all that, but whatever. The real issue is that we've come... Oh, we're in a weird timeline where peripherals are mainly just first-party things now. Like, the PS5 has no third-party controller.
Really?
Like, go find me one. I'd love to see it. Unless we're talking about arcade sticks.
And
those things are not cheap.
I feel like I've seen... Oh, no! Damn it, I thought I could get away. I feel like I've seen Nyko release third-party PS5 controllers. Isn't there like a third-party PS5 arcade stick or something?
And that's what I meant, like arcade sticks, unless we're talking about those.
Or what
but
about like fight pads? That doesn't count?
PS5 third
Not
party.
Nyko, Hori. I know that there's a Hori PS5 fight pad.
Okay, yeah. So I've been corrected. So there's one by Hori,
Which I was thinking about getting, by the way.
$100.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And it also has, I think it gives you the option of putting the analog sticks asymmetric. Fied Duel has one. There's one by Victrix where you can literally have a shield D-pad. And you can also, once again, take out the D-pad and analog stick, turn it, and you can have it asymmetric. I know a lot of people like that. But I see this here by PDP, $180. That is not cheap.
Wait, $180?
Yeah.
Holy God.
Yeah, that's a lot. Gamrobo. So there are, but you wouldn't see these. Razer has one as well, apparently. Asymmetric analog sticks for anybody who wants those. So I've been corrected. Hori has a... Ooh, this one I might have to send you because you wanted a fight pad, right?
Yeah, I was looking at a fight pad, yeah.
This one is like 70. 60, actually, and I think it's wired.
Which I like.
Come
I don't
on.
mind it being wired.
Likewise, I actually kind of prefer wired controllers sometimes.
Well, we'll have to talk about that off episode once we're done recording here, which will be now because this is basically the end of the episode. So let's save that for later. Goddamn, this like difficulty increase between the Unica and the enemies that we're fighting right now. That's insane. This is leaps. They're leaps above Unica's level. So I'm kind of pissed off about that, but we'll definitely save it for another episode. I think what we'll do, I have an idea of how we can approach this, but yeah, we'll definitely be back. We are making our way towards finishing this game. It should only be a couple more episodes. I'm very excited. Finally get through with this playthrough so we can move on to Cuphead. But we want to thank you guys for checking out our content.
If you guys enjoyed it, please make sure to slap the like button, mash the subscribe button, and let us know down in the comments below. What do you think of the playthrough? Do you guys like massive difficulty spikes? Do you like fighting arcade pads? Because we definitely do.
Oh yeah. Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.
Take care.
Bye.